Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the amazing Sorehan's Q&A podcast. Whoa, 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 whoa! Wow. We have kind of a special episode planned out. This is another podcast again. I have somebody on the show today, and his name, well, he won't tell me his name. He knows some stuff about Bach, I guess. I'm kind of just taking your word for it, I suppose.
Yeah.
He listened to my Fugue recording. He has some thoughts on it. Or I mean, like, why don't you tell me the deal?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think is like the way you shape the harmony and the fugue. But I think what you could work on a lot would make it like a lot nicer. And just like I think we could go like through a little bit of like an analysis of like the beginning, and that I think will give you like a good idea for like the rest of the fugue.
Okay, cool. I have a version of the fugue here. Let me pull it up without showing the fruity stuff I have downloaded to my computer. Okay, there's just gonna be a green box. It's okay.
I think today is gonna be kind of, I guess, some kind of masterclass on like tension and what to do with the tension and like music. So when you look at a piece of music in terms of like analyzing like where the tension is and where the resolution is, like what do you think about?
I look at accidentals. That's like an obvious thing to me.
Yeah.
Like when we're analyzing this sort of stuff. That doesn't really work so much, I think, in modern music. But with this, like accidentals.
And what do the accidentals mean?
Usually like leading tones to other keys, or at least like tonicizations.
Yeah. So it's leading to somewhere, else around like the circle of fifths. I think of two main categories in like what we're going to be talking about at least today, right? We have like kind of like the melodic tension, and then we kind of have the harmonic tension. So like harmonic tension is like what you're talking about with like the circle of fifths, adding sharps or adding flats to take us to new places, right? New tensions, new dominant chords, right? And usually, right, it's gonna be like with what you're talking about, sharps and flats, like a lot of times, right? If we're going up the circle of fifths, to the right, it's going to be more tense than if we go down the circle of fifths to the left, right? And there's different like levels, right, of like harmonic tension. There's the intervals, like suspensions and appoggiaturas, and then there's like that's the smaller level, and then the bigger level is like what is the key of the piece, and are we going to a different key, right?
Yeah.
And then I mentioned the melodic tension. Do you think you have an idea of what I mean by like melodic tension?
I'd like for you to tell me.
With melodic tension, right, is a lot of times, people talk about as the pitches go up, the direction of the pitches, right? If a melody is leading you up, you're usually going to get louder, right? The line is increasing in tension as the melody goes up, right? A lot of times it's natural as you're playing a scale going up to crescendo, and then when you're going down, right, to decrescendo, right?
Yeah.
That's one kind, right? And then the other part of like melodic tension, right, is how conjunct or disjunct, right? Conjunct is just a word that means how stepwise the motion is.
Yeah.
And disjunct is how, a lot of leaps and a lot of skips, right? Mm-hmm. So like the most tension you could have like in a melody, right, is if there's a lot of jumps. If it's moving up, right, like an octave jump is a really big tension, or like a minor or major seventh jump is a lot of tension, right?
Yeah. I've never really thought about that sort of thing, so that's interesting.
I mean, and they kind of both come from the same thing, right? Because like where we get harmony from, right, is like the overtone series, and like the overtone, we're taking the higher notes of the overtone series, right, are more tense than the ones that are closer to the fundamental.
Yeah.
What messes everything up, right, is like octave equivalence. The fact that we hear like every C, no matter the frequency, is the same note, right? Whether it's double or half, right?
Yeah.
So what that leads us to the kind of the problem is usually, right, we want to go louder as we go up in melody, and lower as we go down in melody. But the only problem with that is like we have harmony, and like the biggest example, right, is the leading tone, right? The leading tone, like normally if you go up you want to increase the volume, but with the leading tone you're resolving the harmony, right? So you're going up but it's getting softer. and that's like the big thing I noticed the most is you really you really like to punch the downbeat a lot, punch like the endings of everything, right? And you
Yeah.
want yeah, it's like you're getting like super psyched to like lay down, like when you should be like relaxing as it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
that's
you,
the
well, you
big
said when we were talking, like privately, of course, you said that that is like a very like rock and roll
yeah
kind of way
yeah.
of looking
Well,
at it.
it's kind of like you're doing a ta-da like at the end of every
Ta-da.
phrase, and yeah, and here. So yeah, why don't we go into it and like analyze like the subject? So when we look at the subject, right, there's a lot of embellishments. There's like three ideas, and this whole like piece is kind of based on those three ideas, and each of
Mhm.
those ideas has kind of its own note. So, right, we have the repeated eighth notes at the beginning. So
Yeah.
you could like condense that all into an E. And then you have like the lower neighbor of the D. So you could just put that as a D.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you have a kind of a leading tone going to the C, the last note of the like subject. So it's kind of basically right E down to a D down to a C.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the main subject is kind of this falling, right? And you'll see it with this whole piece. Like, don't you kind of feel like this whole piece is falling down a lot of the times, right?
Yeah, I could see that. There's a certain searching that a lot of it has.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
lot of searching, and
Yeah.
yeah, but the melody, like the contour of the main subject, right, falls down, and throughout this whole piece, it's a lot of going down the circle of fifths, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going down, left on the circle of fifths, right? Releasing tension. So like a big part of this, right? Because we're releasing tension so much in this fugue, we're
Which
going down the
that's
circle
unlike
of fifths.
that's like unlike the presto, right? I guess sort of like a side.
I would say it's like antithetical to like the 997 fugue, right? That one's like always
Yeah.
rising
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, it's a very falling down kind of
Hmm.
harmony and fugue,
Yeah.
right? And you can see that even more. And like, what's interesting about this fugue, if you look at it, right, a lot of times, a fugue, it starts in the tonic and goes to the dominant. But this one,
Yeah. This
that
one's
would
on
be to the,
soul.
the dominant key would be to the right of this key A minor. But this one, it goes to the left and releases tension a little bit with
Yeah.
the answer, because the answer's in the subdominant, right? And when I mean subdominant, right, this is in the key of A. It goes to the key of D. So even that is like falling down in the circle of fifths, right? It goes to the key of D, not to the key of E, which is the more normal option in a fugue.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So the way, right, and like, do you think you can just try playing like E, D, and C in the
Yeah.
like most musical way you can? Yeah, isn't that really nice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot cross ones.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, I assume I'm gathering like I assume that that's how you wanted me to play it.
Yeah, yeah. I
Right.
mean, but isn't that the way you would sing it? Like if you
Yeah.
sing hot cross buns? Yeah,
Yeah. You probably
that's what
wouldn't.
you kind of do sometimes. Is you sometimes you're really nice.
Like that
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But that's C. So what I'm trying to like get you to is right. That C should be the so and right. This is just the general shape, right? You can have like different dynamics in different sections, but I think whenever you have this melody, the subject, it should follow that contour of
Yeah.
the top note being the loudest, then it's a little softer, and
Well,
then the
it
softest
seems
on
so
the key.
clear now because it's like, of course, that would be like that. Of course, that's the
Yeah.
resolution. Yeah.
And then the same thing, right, with when you get it on to starting on A, right?
Mhm.
A and then G and then falling down to F.
Yeah.
And then a high A, falling down to G and then F.
Like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. And you get these nice waves, right, of
Yeah.
the melody falling and then falling, and then you have a little break and then falling, right? And what's
Yeah.
really nice
Yeah.
about that, right? And what's really nice about that is that E being the loudest. So we have these E's leading up to the the E on the downbeat. that strong downbeat. And what's kind of cool is almost.
And sorry, are you talking about the E on beat 3?
Oh yes, sorry, yeah. Okay. So the very beginning, right, with the four E's, that fourth E, the fourth E of the subject. Every time you have the subject and that fourth E, it's always, most of the time, it's with some kind of dissonance, with some kind of suspension, or something. If you look through all of the subjects, that it's always really painful on that beat. Right, you have like the second, like when you start having harmony, like on the fourth A, you have that B with it, and then on the fourth high A, right, that you have that C and A that falls down, and then when it comes back to E, the subject comes back to starting on an E, right? It's in the key of A. It has a suspension over, right, like the B. So what's really nice is so we know we want the general contour of the melody to be falling. So what we're gonna have to do a lot is really focusing on picking it up, right, each time that starts. And what's nice is we have those repeated E's, which is really nice with guitar because you can crescendo up to that E on the downbeat and then fall. So you get this nice contour throughout the whole thing of it, rising with the repeated notes and then falling as the melody goes down.
Yeah.
And just following that throughout the whole piece will like really give it a nice shape.
Yeah, definitely.
The one last thing to talk about, right, is how we have the beginning with the first subject, right, the B going to the C, kind of a leading tone going to C, right? It's in the key of A minor.
Yeah.
Which is the same note as C major. So that B half step, right? Half steps are really important. That B, right, you always want to make sure when it goes, to that downbeat, that C resolution, whenever the subject happens, right, the last note of the subject should always be the softest. And because a lot of times I think you
I kind of just
with the rest
through it.
Yeah, you make the C more powerful than the B, the resolution.
Yeah, it should be like a,
and that's one of the motives that's like used the most, right? We kind of have three ideas. We have the repeated note, then we have the like neighbor, the D, C, D, right, that neighbor. And then we have like a leading tone resolving up, right? Yeah. And those are used a lot, right, with big chords sometimes, with and going through the circle of fifths in different sequences, right? And having that general idea, I think, will make it really nice.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Do you want to try going through like the exposition, and do you want to try that out?
Hell yeah. Let's do it. In there. I'm trying to think through. Shoot, sorry, let me try that again. Yeah, so going...
Nice, exactly, and that's kind of the...
I have to think about it. I've never, like... That makes it much more clear to think in that way, and, like, I probably don't know the music well enough to even, like, employ all that right now. But I can see the vision in that, though.
Yeah, but so, like, just to put that into place, like, the biggest thing, right, is at the end of every phrase to make sure it's, that soft resolution on the last.
Can I try it one more time? Do you mind? Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Man, so soft there.
Yep. That should be the softest.
So what about there? Should that be the same deal? This is... You know what I mean? Like into measure 6, I mean. I guess... Because it seems like that whole leading tone thing. So any like half-step resolution, you're saying it should...
Anytime you have that subject, shape. Yeah, every time you have that part of the subject, right?
Yeah.
And then, right, the same thing with the beginning, right? and you have to like balance it out a little bit, especially with this piece, because there's so much falling down through the circle of fifths, right? In
Yeah.
that falling motive, you really want to, whenever you have those repeated notes, you want to try and bring it up a little bit, so then you
Yeah.
have some room to fall back down.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You kind of build the energy
Yeah,
on
and
that. Okay.
yeah, so like the default things should be like go going down, and then it's finding the places to pick it back up so you can fall down.
Yeah.
And like some of the places, I think we'll get to it, but some of the places I think is that are the best opportunity to like build it up a little bit is whenever we have like those pedal points, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't
Yeah.
really have the melody in there, so we don't have to follow that melody at the contour. And a lot of times, right over that pedal point, where it like going up, right,
Yeah.
with over the pedal point,
So you're
and
saying
that
like big
yeah,
crescendos
that
through that.
yeah, crescendo through those, and that way, right. A lot of times after the pedal point, you have a big section of falling down through the circle of fifths, or some sequence that falls down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And one last thing I kind of just want to point out, right, is you see how, like, at the very end we have, like, that little interruption, right, of the, A to D. Ba- ba.
Which part?
Yeah, so in the exposition, it's, yeah, that right after the high A theme subject.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you the low
Measure
A to D.
4.
Yeah.
Measure 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing to kind of notice, right, is that A to D is kind of acting the same as the
That's
E
like a
to
sol
F.
do.
Yeah, so it's just like the leading tone, right? We just hit it.
So it should be a
Yeah.
like that sort
So
of.
you say, yeah. So right before you have that E F, and then you have the going. This is going to the key of D minor, right? So it's the
Yeah.
E to the F, just like we had the B to the C, and then you have an A to a D, kind of
So like
imitating it. Yeah.
that sort of. Okay.
Yeah.
Like we have like
And-
two resolutions.
Yeah, and what's kind of happening if you look at this like the exposition, right? We have A minor, right, for the first subject, and then what's interesting is we have 2 in the subdominant, right, in D minor, and that what you just played, the little interruption with from the subject, that's kind of where we get the first like full kind of D chord, and
Yeah.
like root counting that A D, right, completing the A and F, the D minor chord. So that's kind of the resolution of the D minor section that we have because of those 2 D minor answers in a row, and then we get back to the A minor key at the end. So it's kind of like, it's almost like this piece, like the exposition, right, where it starts in A and then it goes to D minor and then it gets back to A. So yeah, that D minor chord is kind of the end of the middle section, and then like the end of this whole section, right, is when we get to that last A chord.
The last A chord into measure 7.
We get an A and a C over an A. Yeah.
Okay. That.
I mean, it doesn't have an E in it, but E's kind of the least important part of a minor chord or a chord. Yeah.
So, and that's the yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's kind of the end of the exposition, because that's the end of the last subject, right? This is like kind of a 4-voice fugue. That's the last subject. We have the subject and then 2 answers, and then that's the last subject, and that ends on that A minor chord, right? 2 A's and a C.
Okay. And then is the next part kind of a transition, I guess?
Yeah, it transitions. Yeah, it's and it's more of an episode, right? A more free form with all
Yeah.
the 16th notes.
And I guess probably the same stuff applies. Where I should maybe not go. Or, where I like. And then that's the tense, that G sharp. Or, yeah, G sharp. Oh no, these notes are different than mine. Whatever. This is by the way, everybody at home, this is a different score. So it's a little different, but it's fine.
So I think we'll skip a little bit until we get like kind of the subject back. Do you think you could go like from measure 11, or is that too weird of a spot?
Yeah. Oh.
Exactly. Great. And you kind of did that on your own, right? So you see that those two A's right at the are kind of the end of this section.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wait, hold on. Let me find it. Are you talking about the two A's going into the high E?
Yep.
Yeah. So quiet there. Yeah.
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 That should be this. So yeah, from from the beginning right to the end, that's kind of the lowest point. That A, right?
Yeah.
And all harmony kind of falls from there. So you can do like a little bit of crescendo with the repeated, C's at the top, and then you want to get down to eventually that A.
So, and then crescendo through the B. I mean, I guess that I like how there's crescendos written in this one. What do you think of that measure of D minor, or with the D half note?
So, yeah, that's interesting that you point that out. So it's kind of the same thing that happened in the past, like right before it in the measures, right before it, because we have this C right falling down at the top. We have a C right a C, that C falling down, and then in that measure we have the A falling down with the F. So getting a little bit out of there would be nice too, because we're falling down again, right? Because the outer notes right are kind of going, and then when we get to the D, they're going down too.
And you accented the first beat of the D. Is that
so? I mean, it still should be softer than
the previous
than the top part. But you only can get so soft, so it's good to like have some room to go down here.
Yeah. So.
Well, I want to crescendo through like the falling notes.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I just mean I wouldn't start that D too soft, so you can't have.
Oh, I see what you mean.
The most important part, right, is the A, making sure that's the softest part, and like that feels like an ending.
Okay.
That's the kind of the end of this kind of like episode of all this wandering, and then we get back to the subject in its full form.
Yeah. Okay, and then all that stuff you said applies.
Yeah, and then for the next section, it's just the subject going through like the circle of fifths, right? What's really nice is with the subject, whatever note it starts on, that's going to be the 5 of the key you're going to, right? Or the key it's in. And you can see it like goes to the circle of fifths. You have the subject, on E, and then it goes to the subject on A, and then you have the subject on D, and then it goes to the subject starting on a G, right, and C. So you can kind of see how the next section starting with the high E is going down through the circle of fifths, right? Yeah, making sure that high E, right, you don't want to start the high E too loud, but you want to get to the last eighth note of the high E. Right, you want to be at some place where you can fall down through the rest of the next section.
Okay.
Yep, and then each one right with the repeated notes, get up, and then a little down, get up, down, right? So the big structure, right, is the circle of the big structure, right, is the circle of fifths going down, and then the smaller structure is the subject that's going down too. So you have like these little diminuendos and then this big diminuendo with the harmony. Do you want to try start going from the high E?
Yeah, let's do it.
And you don't have to get too high, right? This section can be a softer or louder section, right? It's just like the general contour.
Okay, yeah. Oh. So I should probably go quieter on the... Or should I be quieter on like the dissonance, that half step, even though I'm like...
Yeah, I would still be softer than the beginning of the subject, or like the highest point of the subject. Then you still, if there's dissonance, you still have to be softer after that.
Okay, I see, so...
Right, and it kind of works, right, because the subject, you want to crescendo with the repeated notes and then diminuendo with the subject, right? So you can still get soft on the last note, and then a little softer, and then work your way back up.
Yeah, okay. So... So that I should probably quiet into that, maybe.
Yeah, louder and then a little bit quieter in the resolution. Yeah, and then you see right at measure 21, right? Going in at the end of the subject, right?
Oh, yeah,
we have that. Yeah, we have that G, and then it's still gonna go a little bit softer on the E. So a lot of times it still can go softer after the. So a lot of times you do have dissonances on that downbeat at the end of the subject, but you just have to get a little bit softer to resolve them still.
Yeah.
And then right, it goes from the G at the bass note to the E, and then it builds back up. And then can you play like that part, that measure, or the chords are what I'm interested in, the three voices.
Yeah, can I start on the
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
you want. Or
And then right, you can just follow the contour of the music, right? It goes
Okay.
up and down. And then sometimes I hear you hit it like up, And then if you want to like talk about like articulation a little bit, right? Sometimes I hear you hit all of them short. What I would do is if you wanted to do some of them shorter, I would do the ones going up a little short, and then you can fall down a little bit more.
okay. So shorter there. And then try to go longer there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
cool.
That's just what, like when you do all of them staccato, I think it could be like a little bit shorter. I think it could be a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Same thing, but if you do that, it makes a lot of sense with like the shape of the line.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So.
You did exactly right. So
Nice.
in the recording I heard, you hit the resolution really loud on that part. But yeah, you even have a trill to like make it a little bit more intense, and then and then and then you get soft, and then you're gonna have to pick it back up with those repeated E's.
Yeah.
Yep. And then that G sharp resolving softly to the.
I think I like that for some reason.
And you hear all the bets in the bass a lot of the times.
Yeah, I think I have the idea now. Like right now, I'm kind of just using my ear, like guessing. I'm assuming that the resolutions are happening on like the on beats, like between measures, or like on 1 and 3 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean it works. It's going down in general, so that works pretty well. Yeah, like going softer. It's a spectrum, right, tension, right. So the tonic is. Tonic harmony, right, is the most resolved, right, and then you have dominant, but then you also have like suspensions of the dominant, or chords that are leading you to the dominant, and those are even more tense, right? Or you also have the tonic going to like the other chords too sometimes, where the tonic can like resolve a little bit. Yeah, so right when you get to that higher chord, you kind of go a little soft. Maybe try being a little bit louder there, so then you can have more room to fall.
Okay, yeah, so. And then it's sort of like a gradual, like stair step.
On the repeated note, is always the louder. With that part, one thing I kind of noticed is I would be a little bit quieter with the higher part that's a solo line, because if Bach wanted that to be like really loud, he could have given it more notes.
Okay.
But it's kind of a contrast between the big chords, right?
Okay.
You have a big thing, and then making that a little bit softer, right? And then resolving to that B, right, a little bit, right? Having the B be the quietest part of the high part.
Yeah. then I should probably. Or,
No, so I would actually go louder with the GE.
louder
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, because it's so it's a 6. So it is like the tonic chord, but it's like a 6/4. So it's kind of like a 5/5.
Okay, I see.
And then that's kind of the end of that sequence, and then you can start building. Yeah.
And then you said that.
And then exactly. Start soft, and you have a lot of room here in this pedal section to get big for that next section. Right? And then one thing that's really nice about this section, right, is we have that, and then so at the bottom of the line.
Yeah.
That D sharp pointing to that E, and then the C pointing down to the B at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have that. I hear what you mean though. Okay.
Get a little loud right towards the end of the section, because the next part is like you have some of that.
So like build up until the end of that. Yeah. Okay.
Don't be too crazy on that E though. It's still gonna be right. That it's still resolving to the E a little bit, but so.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So make that E feel like we got somewhere finally.
Yeah. Missed some notes there. That's okay. I see what you mean though. Definitely.
Yeah. If you look at measure 46, I think it is. Or we have the low E. It's...
Oh, I don't have that. But I.
Okay.
I could play it though. Should I like follow the volume of that or something, like the decay?
Yeah, I think that's a really tense section. Yeah, so I think that should be kind of big. Because
yeah.
Not too big, yeah, but like going into the next.
Yeah, sorry, what?
Yeah. That E is leading into like the A pedal in like the next measure, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you want that to be a little bit louder than the A we got.
Okay.
And you can still do the same thing of like soft and loud and then soft, loud and then soft. But
what I've done before is like loud, soft, like loud the first one.
Yeah.
But still have like an overarching crescendo.
Yeah. So I think that E right should be louder than the low E. If you see that leading into that, should be louder than the A.
Yeah.
And then I think the whole A kind of harmony should be louder than next A, right? Because it's kind of resolving to that D. And then that B flat should be really soft. Or should be the softest part. It's going to get more intense with the B natural.
Oh, the B flat should be the softest.
Yeah, the B flat is a deceptive cadence.
Oh. Is it?
It's kind of a deceptive cadence. When we have the A, it's an A dominant, and then it does go to a D, but it's over. So, and then it does go to a D, but then it's gonna go to, instead of going to a D, like this the A setting up a D harmony, and we get to a D, but it's not over a D, and then it goes to a B flat. Like instead of going, working to that B flat. So you should treat like, a deceptive cadence, you should treat it like a regular cadence. There's just something that's a little off about it, right? You want it to feel smooth and like relaxed, but there's something wrong with it.
Wait, so it's a deceptive cadence from where though?
So we have,
or we're playing an A7, right?
and yeah, Master 47, right? It's in the key of D minor, right? That A7 means we're in the key of down.
Oh, okay, and then the D minor, that and measure 48.
It goes to a D, but it's over an A. The A is going up to a B flat in the key of D, right? So that would be deceptive.
I guess I'm having trouble seeing that. What's
If you look at it's for measure 47 and measure 48, there's A's in the bass, and then that goes up to a B flat.
My understanding of a deceptive cadence is a dominant going to the 6 of whatever key you're in, right? The minor 6. Wait, so what does B flat have to do with being a dominant going to?
No, B flat is the resolution. So A is the dominant. We're in the key of D minor, right? Kind of in the section, and it's going up to a B flat. B flat is the flat 6 in the key of D minor.
Oh, I see. Oh, so that's...
Yeah, it's a B flat major 7-2.
Oh, so that... Oh, so this is I didn't know you could have a deceptive cadence in minor then. So this is the 5 of D.
You can have you have deceptive cadences. Yeah, there's actually a decent amount of deceptive cadences in minor.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was called a deceptive cadence. I always hear them just like as those obvious like 5 like whole step up to the minor 6. But this is like the 5 going up to the flat major 6, or just the... Okay, that's cool.
So we're kind of trying to go towards, D, but that B flat is getting in the way.
Yeah.
So that's the most relaxed part of this section.
Okay,
but then
I see why.
But then we get a B natural, which is going to make it a little bit...
Well, I guess this whole time I was treating the B flat as like a leading tone to B. But I see what you mean. It should be like a resolution. And then we get to B.
Yeah, that B is the tensor.
Okay, I see.
And I guess, like, technically speaking, I guess technically, it like in terms of the A, right? It's a deceptive cadence, but what happens when it goes from the B flat to the B is it's acting like a Neapolitan almost, because it would go into an E dominant chord next, right?
Wait,
and the Neapolitan of A minor is B flat, so it's kind of doing both. It's like a deceptive cadence that becomes
something.
What?
Like a root position Neapolitan.
Yeah, it's cool because it is a deceptive cadence, but when it goes to the B, it's acting like a Neapolitan. There's actually a decent amount of Neapolitans in here. Like at the very, I think it was towards the beginning where we get that D over a B flat. Like with that one section has a D and a B flat over it. So there's actually it's a decent amount of like B flat Neapolitans. Time. Can you try making the A softer? Yeah, the whole note A. Make that soft, but then you can build up through the rest of it.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. See, there you have room to go up. Yeah.
I guess I was always treating it as like it needs to sustain through it. I play that so loud in the recording.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's a whole note here. I mute it when I play that C, but I think it's written as a half note in my score.
I just picked like I just got the like first one that was for guitar on IMSLP.
Yeah. And then I guess that should be quiet.
Yeah. So we'll talk about. We'll get to that part in a second. This is a big section for me.
Yeah.
Because we're heading right. You know how I said like we're heading towards the subdominant. This is a very, and if you look in this version, right, that's even a fermata over that A7 chord.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to, he's been hinting at the D minor for a while, and now we're gonna finally get it. When you do that run going up the A from the A whole note in the score. Make sure you write that D right before you get to the high C. Make that a little bit softer.
Alright. Wait, so, okay.
And then, the same thing, get louder with that high C and then get soft with the...
So, okay, I see what you mean.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so there should be a little more like...
Yeah, and then that fermata, that A, it is an A7, but like it should feel, it's gonna be a little bit softer. Because it's a half cadence, basically. Right? Because that's what it's all resolving to.
Yeah.
And then right with this, and then you get back to the subject, right? So it's the same idea. If you want to keep that same idea with the subject, right? This is a bigger section, but like still crescendo with the repeated notes, and then with the notes that that are falling down.
Okay, so
yeah. When we get the subject back, that top voice, right? Make sure the D's are louder than the C sharp. So right after the fermata.
Okay, the D. Oh yeah, I see. All right.
Make sure that last D is a little bit louder than the C sharp. And right.
And I should crescendo.
Make sure that right that A F right. Make that a little bit softer.
F. Hold on.
You can make the E a little bit louder than you did. The C sharp to the E. You just want the D to be a little bit louder because it's falling to the C sharp. But then, right, the E, the chord with the E at the top is going to be...
I should play, so...
Yeah,
so the
nice.
D is loud, or C sharp is quieter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the D is falling to that C sharp, so you want to go back a little bit.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but then you still want to make it feel like it's resolving to that A.
Oh, I see. All right.
Take a little bit more time on the AF. Right, that's the last note of the subject.
It's too loud, but yeah.
Yeah, a little loud. Yeah. But, so you don't have to worry. It doesn't have to be too soft. It just should feel like more relaxed than the chord right before it, right? And then what's kind of cool, right? We kind of get a little suspension, and then it goes to the D, right? We get the bass part first, and then it goes to the D A. We have the E. The top. It's E A and then C sharp, and then it goes to a D A. So that's where we finally kind of get the D A. You can think about like the whole. Everything up into this is kind of leading to this section, right? Getting to D minor. Mm-hmm. That's what I kind of think about it. So, where do you see like where we get the first like full D minor chord with like root position?
At the end.
Oh well, like, like what measure?
Oh, the beginning of 55.
With the D A F sharp right before. So what?
Wait, are we looking at the same place?
Measure. 50.
Oh, you're looking at 54.
Yeah. 54.
Okay, I was saying 54.
But that's you're right. That's kind of the end to the section, but that's the first place we get the first root position. So I'm just pointing out that should be this. The AF should be softer than the chord before, but that D minor chord in root position should be the least tense. Okay. So that's kind of the goal. And then you can build it back up for the trill, and then we finally get to the end, or get to the next section, which would be soft.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. It's a lot to take in.
But does this like kind of process help a lot? Like trying to find
definitely.
the resolution and then really relaxing into it instead of like pushing into it.
Yeah, well, I feel just from this session, like I have an ear for it now too, like kind of what I'm looking for, and it's very different from like the habits I built up from the last like year and a half of memorizing this thing.
I think the temptation, right, is this is very rhythmic, this fugue.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to like always hit the downbeat when every downbeat isn't always like the same harmony.
Yeah, I think what would be a good idea is, do you want to do it again next week and go through the
Yeah,
second
this
half?
is like the perfect place to like stop. We're like basically
Yeah.
halfway. Yeah, we got through like all the big things I'd like to talk about. Yeah, hope this helped.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. Hey, well, we're at the end of the masterclass now. Thanks so much, Mr. Anonymous.
No problem.
I don't know, how you feeling about it?
Yeah, I think
I'm getting it, getting the
Yeah.
hang of it.
Yeah, I think it'll turn out really well. Like that's the only thing. Is like shaping the phrases a little bit more. I think would make it really nice.
Well, that's good.
Hopefully, I didn't say anything too stupid.
No, I'm sure you didn't. Hey, want some guitar lessons? You know where to find me. Email in the description. Head on down over to Rootin's Delight. Pick yourself up some merch. Honest merch. Comment questions. Check out the podcast. That's what you're listening to now. Except this is on the main channel.
No, thanks for having me.
Of course. Alright, well, I'll see you on the flippity flip.
See you.